Is God in the business of being politically correct? As a matter of fact, when we consider God's son, he was a preacher. We think about Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ was intentional. His life was intentional. His message was intentional. His commitment to God, keeping his commandments, was intentional. When we consider Jesus Christ again, Jesus Christ was matter of fact. Went into the temple, turned over the money tables. When he was teaching on marriage and divorce in Matthew 19, intentional. When he was talking to the disciples in John 6, we see that he was matter of fact. Even to the point, friends, that he looked to his disciples and he said, "Will you also go away?" Friends, when we stop and we consider being politically correct, really it's all about not offending people. It's all about not hurting people's feelings. But the truth will set us free. As a matter of fact, when we stop and we consider the truth, it's all about the truth. It's all about telling people what they need to hear in order to be what God desires for them to be. What does God desire for them to be? Upright and honest. It's hard for us to do that if we're striving to be politically correct, if we're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. But friends, when we stop and we consider Jesus Christ, we have to stop and we need to think about, what did Jesus teach? What did the apostles teach? What do we need to learn as it relates to being politically correct? Well, I want us to talk just for a brief second as it relates to abortion. You know, we use the politically correct term of abortion. Friends, that term is not in the Bible. And I say this with all humility. I say this with all the love I have in my heart. But when we consider abortion, the Bible teaches us in Proverbs 6 and verse number 17 that it is the shedding of innocent blood. When we stop and we think about that holistically, we need to stop and look at how this is nothing but murder. It is taking life. In 1973, Roe versus Wade. Since 1973, friends, listen to this astronomical number. 55 million souls have been ushered up into the Hadean realm. Friends, that's 55 million. We're number 3 as it relates to the countries, as it relates to putting souls into the Hadean realm. Yeah, being politically correct, we have more doctors putting souls into heaven than preachers. And this is not right. We need to go ahead and speak where the Bible speaks and call it what it is. It is murder. Jesus was matter of fact. God himself is matter of fact. God himself is one that does not deal with political correctness. Neither should we. So, what do we do with this? As the church, we are God's moral culture in the midst of an immoral world. We are the one that take the gospel of Jesus Christ and we champion the truth, telling people that you ought to do things the way God desires for you to do it. Well, how is that? Well, getting married and having your husband and your wife and y'all have children the way that God desires for you to have. So when you have children in the right realm, you don't have to worry about murdering babies. See, we're not calling it abortion because the world calls it abortion. And we should not be conformed to the world, but be conformed to the very image of Jesus Christ. Marriage, friends, let's get married. Let's do it right. One man and one woman for life. And then bring in that child and teach that child the ways of God and teach them what God says in his word. And let's get away from political correctness. Let's get back to the word of God. Let's please the Lord. I end with this statement. God himself is not in the business of political correctness.